Hello my friends, this is Lindy and my channel is Lindy's Magpie Reads, and today I am celebrating International Children's Book Day. IBI Canada is the sponsor this year. IBI stands for the International Board of Books for Young People, and the Canada chapter has also put out a couple of catalogs of recommended Indigenous children's picture books. The first one that they published was in, I think, 2018, and it has 100 books in it, all by Indigenous authors, and many of the picture books are illustrated by Indigenous illustrators as well. And that's available for free online. And also, they've done an update since then that came out in 2021. So 25 more picture books, again, available online. And I'm going to include a link in the show notes. And also a link to the Welcome to International Children's Book Day by Richard Van Camp. There's a little short video about that. And the poster for International Children's Book Day was created by the artist Julie Flett. The cover on actually both of the catalogs that I mentioned, they're called Sea to Sea to Sea. Celebrating Indigenous picture books. The cover of this catalog, that you can download the PDF, the art is also by Julie Flett, and she's one of my very favorite children's picture book illustrators, so I decided to do a spotlight on her today. And I am going to start with a book by Richard Van Camp that Julie Flett illustrated, We Sang You Home. This one is a board book for babies and toddlers. And it got an honorable mention in Italy at the Bologna Ragazzi Awards. Richard Van Camp is Tlicho, and he's from the Dene Nation. He grew up in Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories, and he lives in Edmonton now. And in addition to writing books for children, he also writes for teens and adults. He writes comic books, and he's just an all-around great storyteller, I would say. This book starts with, we sang you from a wish, we sang you from a prayer. And just so you can see what Julie Flett does in this, there's the couple singing outside, and there's a couple of rabbits, and very subtly there's a pair of rabbits on the page with the text, and she does that with every page. Birds, and then there's a few birds with the text. She uses usually a combination of chalk pastel and some watercolor. She collages and then uses digital technology to put it all together. So again, there's just a few berries. As we give you roots, you give us wings. Most of these picture books that I'm going to be showing you today, the entire thing takes place outdoors. This is actually pretty common for children's picture books. So this one is basically a celebration of the joy that children bring to their parents. And any board book by Richard Van Camp, I highly recommend. Julie Flett herself is both Cree and Métis, and she lives in Vancouver now. So this next book that I'm showing you is one of the ones that Julie Flett created on her own. So she's the author and the illustrator. And that cover is so shiny. I'm going to show you inside here. It's got a long title because it starts in Michif. Li yibo nayapiwak li swear. L'alphabet di Michif. And the English title is Owls See Clearly at Night, a Michif alphabet. And the Michif language doesn't have sounds of Q and X. So those are not in here. Her palette is quite soft, lots of sort of grayed colors. A is Atayoke, which is tell a story. And the Michif language has nouns that are mostly from French, and also the verbs are mostly from Cree. But there are some other Indigenous and European languages mixed in as well. The buffalo. Buffalo. Here's Dilo, water. And see how subtle and beautiful these illustrations are. La jig. And the girls, if you can see in this illustration, their dresses have a pattern on it that's kind of repeated as stars in the sky. Julie Flett's background, her art background, she got a studio art degree at Concordia University in Montreal, and her initial focus was textiles. So it's not surprising that you see in many of her illustrations these kind of small repeating designs that could remind you of textiles. This next book is by David A. Robertson, When We Were Alone. And this won a Governor General Award. And it is about residential schools, and it's aimed at preschool and grade 1. And it's very suitable for that age. The colors are brighter in this one. It's a girl with her grandmother. And she's asking her why she always wears such colorful clothes. Her grandmother explains, "When I was your age at home in my community, my friends and I wore many different colors, but at the school I went to, far away from home, they gave us different clothes to wear. All the children were dressed the same, and our clothes weren't colorful at all. We all mixed together like storm clouds." There's the illustration for that. And so through the book, each time there's an explanation why she likes to wear her hair long, why she likes to speak in Cree, because at school they weren't allowed to speak their language. Wonderful, wonderful book. I don't have a physical copy of one by Tomson Highway. It's called Dragon Kites, and it is based on an anecdote from his childhood. Tomson Highway grew up way in the north of Manitoba. He's a member of the Barren Lands Cree Nation. He was the 11th of 12 children. And the story Dragon Kites was originally illustrated when it came out in 2002 by an artist called Brian Danes. And I actually put a poster that I have that Brian Danes did behind me so that you can see it. He tends to work in oils and have quite a realistic look. But Dragon Kites, I think, might have gone out of print, and then it was reissued by, so initially it was HarperCollins, and then Fifth House reissued it in 2016 with art by Julie Flett. Perhaps they wanted to have an Indigenous artist. That would make sense. It gives the story a whole different feel. I'll pop in a picture so you can see. Yeah. So another really well-known Canadian Indigenous writer is Katherine Vermette, who is from Winnipeg. She's Métis. And she retold the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Her book is called The Girl and the Wolf, but she turns the story entirely upside down because the wolf in this story is helping a girl who has got lost. So there's this gentle encouragement from the wolf for her to find her own way and rescue herself. The setting is contemporary. The girl in the red dress also has extrinsic ties, I guess you could say, because the image of a red dress is used to represent missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada. So that just adds another powerful layer to this story. In this image that I'm showing you now, the text is, "That night she tied tobacco in red cloth and left it at the bush's edge because she didn't know a better way to say thank you." Next, I'm going to talk about a book by Monique Gray-Smith, My Heart Fills with Happiness. And Julie Flett used really bright background colors for this. It's a bit unusual for her, like this bright yellow, for example. Just such happy colors. And the text is along the lines of, "My heart fills with happiness when," and that keeps repeating, "I feel sun dancing on my cheeks, singing, drumming, when I can smell bannock baking in the oven, holding hands." So just a quiet, lovely, profound sense of gratitude and belonging. Monique Gray-Smith is Cree, Lakota, and Scottish, and she lives in Victoria now. So this is a board book, by the way. Absolutely delightful for little ones and their caregivers. The last one I'm going to tell you about is by Nicola Campbell. It's called A Day with Yayah, and there are a few Nlak'pamuk words in it. Nicola Campbell is Nlak'pamuk, Silich, and Métis, and she's from the Nicola Valley in British Columbia. And in this story, a grandmother passes down her knowledge about wild edibles when she and a child are on a foraging trip. So there's some of the language there, there's ties to the land and traditional ways, and it's beautiful. So I encourage you to look for any picture book that's been illustrated by Julie Flett, or these that I've told you about. Please do go to the link if you're interested in more recommendations of Indigenous picture books for children. There's an educator's resource guide there as well, and a guide to age levels So all the kind of information that you need if you're a parent or a teacher. And happy International Children's Book Day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.